Hey guys, this is Feeding Frenzy 91, and I'm bringing you my review of episode 2 of The Walking Dead final season. Now for this review, I'm simply going to talk about the things I thought were done well, and the things I thought weren't done so well. Let's begin. Lily! Yep, she's back. After 2 whole seasons, she is back to grace us with her presence. I find that the season 1 group in general had some of the strongest characters in the series. Sure, season 2 and ANF had a couple good ones, but the Motor Inn group just took the cake, so it's good to see a returning character from that episode, however brief it was. But I'll get back to that later. Speaking of characters, James is also a welcomed addition. He brings a new style not seen in previous games. Sure, we've seen people covered in Walker blood, but never Walker skin. The episode also highlights a few minor characters such as Mitch and Ruby. It felt really good getting to know these characters better. It was good that they weren't just going to be cast to the side and Telltale wasn't just going to focus more on the characters that we've already gotten to know better in the previous episode. And they're like, yeah, these characters are here too. Let's get to know them better. AJ's character development is also well handled. You can actually tell that he is listening to what Clementine teaches him in this episode. Combat has made a return, and it's much better than the point and click stuff we got in season 2. In season 1, when you got into a situation, you went into basically first person mode with your gun. But this all went away in season 2. It went to the point and click thing, and it just wasn't that much fun. It was just point to the circle, click the circle. I don't think you could even miss. So it just wasn't any skill required. I'm glad that they went back to how season 1 where some skill was actually required. To me, that's much more fun than just pointing to the circle and pressing the button. Unfortunately, that's where most of the positive things end, so let's move on to the negative. Lily! You bring this strong character back, and you only give her around 10 minutes of dialogue. It's a good 10 minutes, but it feels rushed. In fact, this whole episode feels rushed. Rushed story, rushed romance. I mean, the achievement you get for the romance is called moving fast. Perhaps that should have been applied to the entire episode because they hit that pedal and just never let up. Season 1 didn't do this. Season 1 actually took time to explain things. It took time for us to make decisions. It didn't feel rushed at all. I mean, you can even tell by the length of the episodes. In season 1, I'm pretty sure most of the episodes were around 4 hours. But the final season episodes are half the time. So it's like they just tried to condense everything, rush everything into basically 2 hours of whatever they could get in there. And it just, overall, everything kind of just feels like it's moving too fast. This is a story-driven game, and it feels like they're just trying to get the story over with almost. I mean, season 1 had content, it stopped to give us time just to do bonuses, and it had decisions that actually mattered. And this leads to the number 1 problem in this episode. Most of the decisions you made in episode 1 do not matter. Not even the big ones. You know how each episode has those big decisions that are supposed to affect you the next episode? Yeah, none of that's here. Playing through episode 2, I just came to the realization that almost nothing you did in episode 1 was going to really affect episode 2. I mean, there may have been something here or there where a character may have said something based on what you did, but it's nothing really that ever truly affects the episode. Basically, none of the decisions you made affect what happens in episode 2. I mean, season 1 surprised me because it was like, I remember I was playing through season 1 and I got to a part where a decision I had made about 3 hours before actually still came into play. I mean, episode 2 has a decision that actually affects somewhat in episode 5. So Telltale used to have this down pack, I believe, with the whole, these decisions will actually affect you later on. But ever since season 2, they kind of just lost that, and it hasn't come back, unfortunately. Despite having a strong first episode, most of the decisions that you made in that episode just don't really affect this one. Overall, I'd have to give this episode 6 out of 10. It wasn't a bad episode. It had action, it had good dialogue, but it also brought a strong character back and hardly used her. The episode felt rushed overall, and the decisions that you made in episode 1 didn't really have much of an effect on episode 2. Anyway, what do you guys think about this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and may God bless you all.